Okay, hi everyone. The Senate will now be called to order. Could the senators who just entered the room please add senator to the beginning of your name? Thank you. We have some new people joining us today, so I wanted to quickly go over how to participate in questions and voting. Chidi, could you please go to the next slide? Thank you. So if you would like to speak and ask a question or add a comment or anything like that, you can raise your hand using the participants window. When voting, click yes if you're in favor of the vote, no if you're opposed, and go slower if you're abstaining from the vote, and the abstention will count as if you're not present for the vote. And just a reminder that private messages are made public in the transcript because this is recorded. And then once everyone has voted, please remove your vote. Next item on the agenda is a land acknowledgement. And since this meeting is being held online, a singular land acknowledgement can't capture the richness of where everyone is right now through virtual learning. But since ASG is a body under USD, I would like to share the land acknowledgement that is used on campus. I want to acknowledge that the land on which we gather is the traditional and unceded territory of the Kumeyaw Nation. I want to pay respect to the citizens of the Kumeyaw Nation, both past and present, and their continuing relationship to their ancestral lands. Thank you. The Clerk of Senate will now take roll.
Thank you, Madam Senator, or Madam Speaker, excuse me. Happy Thursday. We're almost wrapping it up. Okay, so first off, AJ Armienta.
Here.
Thank you. Alana Del Torre. I'll come back. Alana Bledman.
Here.
Okay, thank you. Alexa Andrade.
Here.
Thank you. Angelo Tharp.
Here.
Thank you. Benjamin Tebow.
Here.
Thank you. Brooke Powell.
Here.
Thank you. Catalina Carvajal.
Proxy.
Okay, thank you. I'll make note of that. Okay. Cecilia Bayron.
Barron here.
Thank you. Chidi Okaru.
Here.
Thanks. Daniela Peña.
Here.
Elena Cruz.
Here.
Thank you. Ezra Wheeler.
Here.
Thank you. Okay. Fantasy Bias.
Here.
Thank you. Harrison Tarbox.
Here.
Thank you. Jay Johnson.
Yo.
Hello. Okay, thank you. Lauren Fetis.
Here.
Thank you. Madeline Wu.
Here.
Thank you. Max Donahoe.
Here.
Awesome. Meg McWilliams.
Here.
Thank you. Mia Soto.
Here.
Thank you. Sabrina Mendoza.
Here.
Awesome. Sean Kenny.
Here.
And Tiana Fee.
Here.
Thank you. Okay. And awesome. Oh. And then if Alana comes in later, let me know.
Here. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Thank you. Alrighty, and we are all set to go.
Thank you, Ari. Next item on the agenda is approval of the agenda. Are there any motions? Sean,
I move to approve the agenda.
Second.
Second.
there's a motion on the floor having been seconded to approve today's agenda. Is there any further discussion? If not, please cast your votes. Motion passes. Thank you. The agenda has been approved. The next item on the agenda is approval of the minutes from last week's meeting, October 29th. Are there any motions? Lauren,
I move to approve last week's minutes.
Second.
there's a motion on the floor having been seconded to approve the minutes from last week's meeting. Is there any further discussion? If not, please cast your votes. Thank you. Motion passes. The minutes have been approved. Next item on the agenda is the swearing in of appointed senators. Are there any motions? The appointed senators are Thomas Riley and Megan Womack. Lauren,
I move to swear in both of our newly appointed senators.
Second.
there is a motion on the floor having been seconded to swear in the appointed senators. Is there any further discussion? If not, please cast your votes. Motion passes. Thank you. Okay. So to the appointed senators or about to be appointed senators, if you can unmute yourself. The members of the Associate Student Government of the University of San Diego shall adhere to the highest ethical standards. They shall exercise judgments which are fair, consistent, and equitable. They shall do everything they can to strive for excellence in their goals, adhere to the Constitution and bylaws of the Associate Student Government, and to work to achieve the mission of the University of San Diego. After each of the following questions, please respond, "I will." Will you demonstrate loyalty to the missions and goals of the University of San Diego? Please respond, "I will."
I will.
Will you act within the Associate Student Government's Constitution and bylaws?
I will.
I will.
Will you be fair and just in the treatment of all, addressing issues and people without prejudice and maintaining a positive working and learning environment?
I will.
Will you honor agreements and preserve confidentiality?
I will.
Will you be honest in and accountable for your actions and statements?
I will.
Will you demonstrate personal and professional integrity in all matters and respect ASG leaders, administrators, faculty, staff, and students?
I will.
I will.
Will you provide leadership in all of your assigned duties?
I will.
I will.
ASG leaders, please join me in saying the oath of office. So it's basically a call and response. I'm going to say something and you repeat after me. We will be part of a team
We will be part of a team
which seeks to meet student needs,
which seeks to meet student needs,
to extend opportunities to all students,
to extend all opportunities to students,
and to enhance the quality of education
and to enhance the quality of education
education
students are offered at USD.
students are offered.
at USD.
We will work with fellow members
We will work
We will
with
work with fellow members
of the Associate Student Government
of the
of the
Associated
Associated Student
Government
Government
in a spirit of harmony and cooperation.
in a spirit of harmony and cooperation.
To the best of our ability,
To the best of our ability,
we will represent and serve
we will represent and serve
the Associate Student Body of the University of San Diego
the
the Associated Student Body of the University of San Diego,
in all aspects of campus life.
in all aspects of campus life.
All right, you're officially sworn in. Everyone, please join me in welcoming newly appointed senators. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is a report from me. So I just wanted to remind everybody to please raise your hand in the participants window if you'd like to speak and wait to be addressed by me. And also some ASG spring training dates have been finalized. So please put down these dates in your calendar. So January 29th, February 5th, and February 12th. And training will only be 2 hours long every day, but it depends on senator's class schedule. So it'll either be from 3 to 5 p.m. or 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Does anyone have any questions? If not, we can move on to reports from committee chairs and coordinators.
Hi, everyone. These are currently initiatives that we've been working on since last week and before that. No new updates available for Senate other than we're kind of capping off the ASG academic grant students that have been approved. Aside from that, no new reports from academics.
Okay, so we are working in tandem with the student org committee to create an anti-racism training that was originally supposed to be just for student org leaders, but we are trying to expand it to all student leaders, including FSL and the Vista and other groups. This is to be, oh, sorry, there were a few typos here. This is due to the complacency of our entire campus on racism. And after having this training, there is no excuse anymore. And so we will be presenting this resolution to ask all student leaders to participate in an anti-racism training that the IDE and Student Org Committee will create in tandem with some EverFi content, which does some IDE trainings, I guess. And this will be, the actual resolution will be presented and voted on at next Senate meeting. If you would like to co-sponsor this resolution, have more information, and then co-sponsor, or just have more information, my email is on the screen. Feel free to reach out. And that's basically all of the updates I have for now. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. So Jay will be presenting 4 new student orgs today seeking approval. And as Ezra previously mentioned, we're in collaboration with the ID&E committee right now to figure out logistics in regards to the anti-racism training. And we also had a meeting with Anaya and some other justices to go over the student org committee bylaws. And we've made a lot of progress and it's coming together nicely.
Hello, everybody. I forgot to put in my little update, so I apologize for that, but I will be meeting with the vice chair of the Graduate Student Council tomorrow with another senator in the Student Life Committee to sort of get a roadmap for how best USD can support veterans on campus and active duty service members. So if anyone else would like to be a part of that, please reach out to me. And I hope to have a more substantial update next week. We got a lot of things in the work and I'm very excited to share them with all of you.
Hello, everyone. I don't have any new updates. I'm still collecting responses for the BIPOC student athlete My Story Night interest. So again, I can put that link in the chat again, but that's really all that I'm working on at the moment.
So Catalina asked me to give her updates for health and wellness coordinator. And it's really just a reminder that student wellness is recognizing Take Care of You Week, November 9th through the 13th. So that's the last week of classes. And it's just to focus on sharing information related to healthy sleep habits and stress management as students prepare for their finals. And just encouraging students to prioritize their well-being during this time, and a reminder to follow at BeWellUSD and the URUSD website for more information and updates related to this.
Hello, everybody. I added updates, but it's not showing, so that's weird. But in any case, Teresa, the director of procurement, would like to meet with people for the diversity inclusion program. I sent out an email to those of you who are interested, but I haven't been getting so many emails back. So if you would be willing to share your schedule with me so we can make a meeting for next week, that would be wonderful. We did some editing on the Aussie infographic. It's a lot better, I think, for students in the readability of it and the information students need to understand how to use it. And then we're also working with marketing at ASG to do like a sustainable purchasing guide campaign that might include like a holiday gift guide so you can make or give sustainable gifts to each other. That would be fun. And I also met with Inaya to talk about how to implement the sustainable purchasing guidelines into the finance bylaws. And those are my updates.
Hi, everyone. Sorry I didn't add anything to the doc. I don't really have updates. I just want to say a couple of things. Thank you all so much for getting this passed. I've already gotten a lot of interest, a lot of students coming to me, trusting me, and just like the team and the initiative of getting stuff done. I sent out an email to the DLDRC, Dr. Melissa Halter, Cynthia Avery, and wellness departments, just to kind of like let them know that this is going to be started, and if they want any, I guess if they want to contribute or anything. So that's kind of in the works. I know that there's a lot going on already, so I'm giving some, time to get this like started. But I will be meeting with Dr. Melissa Halter tomorrow to kind of discuss next steps, either her being an advisor or just kind of like helping us talk about virtual accessibility, and then getting in touch with like ITS and professors and just basically everyone and anyone. I'm trying to work as urgent as possible, and there's just a lot going on. So, but feel free to keep your like suggestions and comments coming in and your interests. And yeah, we can get the committee together pretty soon. But that's all for me.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda are reports from ASG executive board members.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Not too many updates today. Just that this past Monday and Tuesday, the Finance Committee approved allocations, most of them. There are a few that need a little bit more clarification, though, so that will probably be done around Friday. And then earlier, I was reached out by Stephanie Lynn at the TWIP to address some needs brought up by the LIFT initiative, which was approved for next spring. It wasn't approved this semester. So we'll address those issues. And then also MLC from University Ministry of Michael Levitt Collier wants a student to serve on a subcommittee of the Strategic Goal Committee, and it's called the Student Learning and Success. The majority of the work of the group will come in February and March when there is a review of proposals for strategic initiative funding. So if anyone is interested, reach out to me via email, please. It's going to be a first come, first serve. So yeah, thank you.
Hey everyone, I just have a couple updates from the university's faculty senate from last Thursday. The first one had to deal with the campus climate task force. If y'all recall, it was instituted in the previous school year. There haven't been too many updates on it, and there's a couple reasons for that. For those of you that maybe need a little refresher, there's two main charges for it. The first charge is to identify topics for campus conversations, and the second one is to evaluate USC's policies and procedures. So it was largely halted due to COVID-19 when all of that happened back in March. However, the two charges still remain in play as it is still a very prevalent topic, and the timeline now will also continue from this upcoming January through May. So for the spring semester, it will still be in play. The next update that I have is a reflection on the shared governance conversations among faculty. You know, just how we're having these conversations as students, it's also going into play with faculty senate, and they have an open forum for all faculty to share their voice and concerns with spring planning. And it is happening tomorrow, Friday, November 6th. And so the last part has to deal with the pass-fail response from Provost Baker. The faculty, they laid out several rationale as opposed to why it was not approved to have the pass-fail option. A lot of it stemmed from just the logistical obstacles that came to play, along with accreditation for the university, as well as specifically for students that are pre-law and pre-health. So that was sort of a big staple as to why they denied it. I then asked them to sort of give me alternatives as to what students can do, since there is not a blanket pass-fail policy. And really the name of the game is the fact that USD has a very small student population, so the student to instructor ratio is ideal. So I guess I wanted to share with all of you to inform your constituents to, if they're having individual circumstances, then we emphasize that they go out to their faculty, their advisors, or the dean's office even with their case-by-case scenarios. This is because instructors have the freedom to individually make accommodations. And if instructors are being difficult, then deans have the influence to persuade their faculty to make adjustments. So while we did not get the blanket pass-fail policy that we would like, there are still alternatives that students can take. If it does not involve a solution with grades, it could involve adjusting curriculum content or emphasizing on the breadth of the material being tested instead of the material's depth, you know? So again, it's unfortunate, and I apologize that the pass-fail option could not happen, but there's still leeway that we can work with. And that is all from me.
Hi, everyone. So we have one final event left for the semester, and it's our Wonderfest event. As y'all know, the first part of the Wonderfest event already happened, which was the signups for the sweatpants. And just as a general update, in case any of y'all's constituents reach out, once you signed up, you're set to go. They should be arriving the week of finals week, so not next week, but the week after. So everything's set in that sense. I would like to caution about the mailing systems being slower right now because of the pandemic. So if it doesn't arrive during finals week, it will come at some point, I promise. And then for the next fest, it's an on-campus grab and go portion that we're having for the residential students. This is planned for Friday, November 13th. We'll be doing the grab and go as movie essential kits, and then there will be a code that students can set, like it's like a free virtual streaming. So there's 4 movies selected, I believe. Shrek, Ratatouille, Elf, and another movie that I'm missing have been selected for those. And then I know there's a lot of cool ideas as like kind of a quiz to see what are the vibes that you're feeling to help you pick a movie, if that's the case. We are working with IT and the movie service to see if it's possible to make this an opportunity so that anyone with a san diego.edu email can use it. But since that is a lot more complicated than we would have assumed. Worst case scenario, the movie services would be offered to all the students who are on the EduRoom Wi-Fi, so everyone who is in a residential hall or on campus. And then in the time that I wrote my update, we have officially heard back from our virtual vendor, and that is the virtual cooking class that's signed up. It's going to be really awesome. It's planned to be like a comedy / cooking class, so you can have fun, and that's planned for Thursday, November 12th from 7 to 8 p.m. And it's gonna be like a chicken meal with cauliflower rice, and then they're gonna also talk about alternatives if you have dietary restrictions. So that should also be a really good thing. So just keep an eye out for it. And then I'm just gonna check if Anaya's here. Okay, so Anaya's not here. She's having difficult internet, so I'll just go ahead and speak. She told me just to read out her update. So if y'all just want to read along with me. Hers are she's on the anti-racism task force, and that she's working with the subgroup addressing anti-racism pertaining to student life, recruitment, and retention. She's on this group with Dean Powell, Dr. Avery, and Bonnie Neptune. The general task force is aiming at completing an initial list of recommendations for to the Board of Trustees. Her next update is bylaws. She will hopefully be presenting a performance review bylaws to Senate next week. Either way, next semester, you'll be getting a number of bylaws from her. And they'll be focusing on the judicial and ASG bylaws, but they'll work on updates to the ASG Constitution over the semester. And then for her final update, it's the judicial branch checks and balances. Once again, if there's anything that you would like to be addressed, just to email her at her email that's on the screen, and she will move forward with that. Alrighty, that's it.
And same with Rafa, the finance chair. He can't be here today, but I'll also just read off of the screen for his updates. So he will be presenting in the next Senate meeting, the spring 2021 allocations and Q2 reports. And he will share these documents with the Senate this weekend. And if you have any questions before the next Senate meeting, please don't hesitate to reach out to him at that email listed right there.
Hi everyone, happy Thursday, and I hope everyone is doing well and taking care of yourselves. Not too many updates, just a friendly reminder again, for any marketing content, just reach out to the senator that's on the screen pertaining to the committee. And then ASG Marketing Committee met yesterday, and we're going to send out a survey soon to the student body and Senate. That should be around next week or finals week, just pertaining to see on how students wish to best receive their ASG updates, so we can get a better picture on being more transparent and sending out these updates in the best way possible. And then just a little announcement, we made an ASG TikTok account, forgot to add it on the screen, but we're for right now, the time being, just gonna use it as a video editing platform. But if you want to follow it, you can. It's at USD_ASG, the same as the Instagram account. So hopefully we'll get to expand more on that next semester. And we're gonna have some cool ideas coming out and about once spring semester is here. So yep, that's all I have. Thank you.
Hello again, everybody. So I don't have many updates. Grubhub credits are available to those who attended the last Senate meeting. And then you'll be getting additional Grubhub credits after, or I guess to those who attended today's meeting, but at a later time. If those don't appear in your account, the ones from the last Senate meeting, please contact me immediately and I can quickly fix it. And then everyone filled out the poll for ASG game night, so thank you for doing that. I sent you an email already discussing the time and date for it. And so please be on the lookout soon for a not Calendly, Google Calendar invite for that.
Thank you. I just wanted to quickly add that Anaya, Justin, Joey, and I are talking about creating a response to the provost email outlining our disagreement with the decision to not do pass-fail, and then sending it to Provost Baker, University Senate, and then the whole student body. So I just wanted to add that. Okay, moving on to the next item under new business is a Q&A with the Chief Information Officer, Elazar. Elazar, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Maya. I hope you can all hear me and see me. Thanks for inviting me to chat with you about any IT related issues that you may have. I also invited Shara Meshkati, who's a senior director for customer support services, including the help desk and many other things. So between the two of us, we can probably answer most of your questions. I have a few updates, but probably best to just start with any questions you have, and then I can fill you in on other things.
Fantasy?
Hi, thank you for being here. I had a quick question. It comes from kind of like the Universal Design Committee, but also just virtual accessibility. Is closed captioning on Zoom events or classes or anything related to Zoom, is that an ITS like issue / funding like resource we can get from y'all, or is it like a different department would handle that?
Well, we are the department responsible for the contract with Zoom. And we have a contract that everybody at USD, students, faculty, and staff have access to Zoom Pro with every feature that it has. Now, I think there are some closed captioning features available in it, but I will let Shara talk about it more because she's probably much more knowledgeable about this than I am. Shara?
Yes, hi everybody. As Elazar mentioned, Zoom is something that we manage for the university, and a certain part of it comes with a free offering of Zoom, of captioning, but there are other functions and more elaborate features that if it does not meet your needs, the Office of Accessibility are the ones that you can reach out to. However, I do not have a confirmed date, but Zoom is going to expand their offering of captioning perhaps beginning of the year. I do not have a firm date for that, but we'll be happy to share that with you as that becomes available.
Yeah, and please note that, Zoom is a product. We cannot make any changes to the product itself. So like Shara said, sounds like pretty soon Zoom is going to improve their closed captioning options, but we don't have any controls over that. We'll certainly let everybody know when that happens.
And also it would help if we know exactly what you're trying to achieve that you feel that you cannot do with the current status, and that way we could sort of look exactly for the right solution.
Ezra, Fantasy, I'll go back to you.
The thing with Zoom is that it either has to be a live captioner, like someone typing as words are spoken, or it has to be a third-party service at this point. And third-party services do cost money, but I think it's worth it because sure, Zoom is gonna integrate these closed captionings, adequate closed captionings soon, but what about the students who need them now? And so I think that it is really imperative that while we're online, because we are honestly paying for online classes. And so we deserve to pay for online accessible classes, even if that means a third-party service. And so I don't think that settling for Zoom subpar captioning services is right, because accessibility is a human right, and there are numbers of students on our campus for various reasons, whether they be deaf, hard of hearing, have sensory processing disorders, have cognitive dysfunction. They need those, and their education is lacking. And there is a solution. There is a very easy solution. It just takes a little bit of money, and we have that money. And so I don't see any excuse for not implementing adequate, effective, and comprehensive closed captioning to all Zoom classes at University of San Diego. And I know that that will be expensive because we offer a lot of classes, but accessibility is a human right. And I think that that has no price.
Well, I hear you, and I totally respect this opinion. We can look into what possibilities are, and we can look at prices and provide those prices to the provost and to the vice president for student affairs, and they can make the decision. One thing I wanted to mention is that all lectures or classes that are recorded via, when you're in Zoom via Blackboard, they are recorded and automatically captured. So when you play the recording, you can automatically also read the entire text of what the instructor was talking about. And you can even search for specific words, and the video will move forwards exactly to the point where you're searching for. So it's very, very sophisticated, that part. But that part is not real time, like ideally you would want.
And to
Lauren?
add to what Elazar mentioned, we do have some affiliation with the third-party captioning folks that we work on case by cases. And also when Zoom sessions, your Zoom class recordings are recorded on Zoom, it goes through Panopto. And that's where you're viewing and rewinding lectures. For those, I think also Panopto has offerings. So I do want to see exactly again where exactly you're seeing problems. Is it every single course that you're speaking of, or any particular area? Because there are some options available, and maybe we just need to figure out how to resource it properly to meet the need that you're speaking of.
Lauren?
To be a little blunt, recording of classes with closed captioning isn't comparable to somebody sitting in class and being able to understand what's going on. That expects a student to take time outside of their original class time to watch these recordings over again, and that causes conflicts with their other classes they might be attending. And I'm sure that you see the point there. I just don't. I agree with what all previous senators have said, that closed captioning needs to be available in live classes. Nobody should be expected to take time out of their scheduled classes that they are paying for at that time to watch recordings of the lecture.
Yeah, I certainly hear you, and we will look into what options are available. If I hear you correctly, you would like ideally to have closed captioning on every single course in real time. Is that correct? Is that correct?
I'm not sure if you can see her, but she's nodding.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm just seeing the speaker view here. So yeah, so we can look at the options. We can certainly find out how much it costs and what other technology issues it brings up, and then we can bring it up to the people who make the decisions. ITS does not make those decisions, and if it's approved, we can certainly implement it. And if it's not, then our hands are tied.
Ari?
Thank you. Just going based off what many previous senators have said before me, I completely agree with all of them. Would it be also possible to include closed captioning outside of academic courses as well in terms of events or students that want to attend events? That way we have an equal platform that all events and all classes and essentially everything is accessible to everyone. You know, thank you.
Elazar.
Well, it's certainly possible. It's all a matter of money, I think. So I think that realistically, I think having close, if we have to pay for every single session individually, depending on how many sessions we have, then we also need to be very responsible and figure out where we need it and where we don't need it, because not every single meeting, there are thousands and thousands of Zoom sessions all the time here at USD, not just classes, but business meetings and all kinds of other things. So I don't think we need it for every single meeting, but again, we'll find out what the implications are, and we'll let the right people know.
Sabrina.
Hi, I'm a Spanish major, so I've noticed that the closed captionings don't work too well for that, so I'm not really able to use them. I'm going to assume that there may be issues with the other foreign languages as well, so I just wanted to ask what you guys are doing to improve that, because as someone who does try to use them, I have seminar classes, so it is heavy discussion. So it impedes my learning ability, and I'm going to safely assume it impedes other people's learning abilities who attempt to use these when they aren't translating correctly. They're doing some weird Spanglish or just getting the words wrong. So I don't know if that's been brought to your attention before, but what kind of solutions would you guys create for that?
I don't know. I'm guessing that foreign languages are going to be way more complicated.
Yes.
To have at the same time have both multiple languages, or I don't know. Shara, I don't think you know either, but do you?
We did talk about it with Zoom folks and Panopto as well. As you had mentioned, as you can all imagine, it is a difficult thing to make it all work well with all kinds of foreign languages. They are aware of it. We're not the people who make those products, but they are well aware of it. And to add to that, we're also working very closely with other universities to figure out what they provide in terms of all kinds of resources, in terms of captioning. I am not aware of any of the groups of the university, which is a broad range that we work with, that they do offer the closed captioning, the live closed captioning for every single class. But again, we have very close association with multiple universities and our vendors, and we'll be more than happy to check on these now that we hear this from you, the concern from you, and definitely we can update you. And hopefully more and more technology will be out there coming down the pipeline to address these concerns, the very valid concerns that you have.
Angelo.
So I was just wondering, to my understanding, you said there was that you were not the appropriate people to make these decisions, if I heard correctly. So who would be the people to make these decisions?
It's a budgeting issue. So we in ITS have a budget for specific things that we spend our money on. If additional money is required, then I report to the provost. So the provost will probably be making that decision. Since this is a student request, possibly the vice president for student affairs will be involved as well. So those are the two main areas that I think will be involved in that decision.
GD.
I just wanted to thank both of you for taking the time to speak with us and answer all of our questions. This is a little bit more general, but as we work on a response to the provost's decision to reject the pass-fail petition, would it be possible to work with ITS to sort of lay out some of the things that are missing that make it difficult for students to have a positive learning experience this past semester? So some of the things senators have already said, like live closed captioning and all those things that aren't available right now that people are asking for. So I just want to make sure, when we work on that response, that sort of aspect of why people might be against not having pass-fail available, that comes from ITS as well.
Well, the pass-fail issue is not, ITS is not involved in that. We're responsible for the technical part of the banner system, which is the system that runs all the student data and the course data and all that information. But we just, in this case, we just told by the registrar office what to do. And we have no control over that.
Madeline.
Thank you. In regards to looking into the pricing of closed captioning and bringing it to the provost, do you have a timeline on that, or how long do you think it would take to do that?
I'll defer that to Shara.
I think first we need to assess the situation and get in touch with our vendors and find out a little bit more of the feasibility of the process, of course, and check what we currently have in place, which we do have a partial solution. So once we do that, then of course it's we bring all that information to the right team that is making the decision, the cost decision, the budgetary. I mean, it's definitely not going to be an immediate thing to solve the problem for you this week or next. These are larger considerations because we need to scope the project. We need to look at the details and the impacts, the implications, the cost effectiveness and all of that, and check with other resources, universities. So there is more involved than just calling a vendor and say, how much is it? And it's this amount, and then bring it on. I would say not to overpromise. In 2-3 weeks, I should have at least some information.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Ezra?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask about how some programs are being closed captioned, but it seems like such a big feat to close caption our entire university, because I promise you, I know some of them. There are deaf or hard of hearing students on our campus, and they are paying a lot for tuition, and they're missing out because they can't absorb the information. And so I just don't see a justification for not spending the money. I'm on the budget committee, and a group or organization, I can't remember which, requested live Zoom closed capturing for the entire spring semester. So I know how much it is. And I just feel like if you're asking us to pay this much for an education, you owe us an education. And I just feel like there are better ways to go about this than saying, we don't know, we'll see in a few months, because it really doesn't seem like a priority. And accessibility is a human right. Because by not allowing accurate closed captions, you are denying education and you are degrading the merit of a USD degree, because there's no way for those people to absorb that information.
Ezra, I totally understand you. We will do the work as fast as we can. I got to say that nobody mentioned this need to us until today.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, we did some analysis on that a long time ago, just as a general thing, but I have not heard such a compelling request like I'm hearing today. So, so we have to do some homework. I can't give you information today or tomorrow because it's not that trivial. But I promise you, we'll do our work as fast as we can, and we'll give the information to the people who make the decisions. And I totally agree with you.
Elazar and Sandra, would you be willing, if I put my email in the chat, to keep me updated on the progress that this is taking?
Sure.
Okay, because I really want to make sure this is a priority, especially as for at least the next semester, we are at least hybrid. And so this is a priority.
We'll certainly keep you posted.
Just a reminder to everyone to please raise your hand if you'd like to be addressed. Fantasy?
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you everyone who is speaking and either asking or answering questions. Yeah, I do appreciate the support of virtual accessibility. I know I see the intention on both ends. I am the chair, I guess, or coordinator of the Universal Design Committee. Like I said, we'll be focusing on virtual accessibility. So I definitely have already had interest in being in touch with ITS. So I'm glad y'all are here today. I think that it requires a lot of effort from everyone. The DLDRC, I know, has gotten multiple complaints about no closed captioning even before the semester started. Some folks have taken a medical leave because they knew classes were going to be online with no closed captioning. If you can see the presentation right now we're doing today at Senate, we've had to improvise and use Google Slides closed captioning because there's not closed captioning on Zoom. So either we can, find a new platform, or we can see what the funding will cost. But profit should not come over accessibility. We should definitely be focusing on these human rights. And I see the intention, like I said. So as the chair of this committee, I definitely look forward to getting in touch with y'all. I'll leave my email in the chat, but also if you both could leave your emails in the chat so we can get in touch. And yeah, anyone else who has concerns, please feel free to email them to me, because I know that these concerns started before the semester. It's just unfortunate that students have to constantly advocate for basic human rights to the departments on campus. But if that's what we have to do, then we'll do it. Just let me know what y'all need, and I can communicate that to ITS and other departments.
Thank you. Lauren?
Yeah, this is kind of just a follow-up of what some other senators have mentioned. I know you mentioned that all events, not every single event has to be closed captioned, like not every single one, but there are also people who don't feel comfortable disclosing their situation and who shouldn't have to ask for closed captioning. I feel like it really should be a part of every single event, because if we're implementing it everywhere else, it shouldn't be that difficult. And then about ITS connecting with pass fail, I understand where you're coming from because that decision wasn't made by your department, but this closed captioning problem is directly related to pass fail on campus because students who are deaf or hard of hearing are the ones who are being affected by the lack of closed captioning, and it's hurting their academic performance. And like a previous senator said, a lot of people are taking medical leave for this problem. So I just wanted to bring up those 2 points. And thank you for being here and listening and responding to our questions as well.
Sure. Lauren, could I ask a quick question here? As Elazar said, this is obviously, we're delighted to be here and to hear your comments and concerns, and we'll definitely, that is our priority, to help all aspects of teaching and learning at USD, and students are on top of our list. However, I wanted to know if you have brought, since this is the first time I'm hearing about it in Elazar, have you brought it up with the office of, or these individuals, the concerned individuals, with the Office of Sustainability, not sustainability. Accessibility, thank you. Has that been brought up with them? Because they're the first office that it should go through, and then if they have technology needed, they will contact us.
Lauren?
Personally, no, I do not know that if they have been contacted or not.
I think that would, Elazar, do you agree with me? I mean, we address all kinds of concerns across the campus, and that's our priority, but I would think that that would be the first office of support for this type of issues and escalation of that. Having said that, since we're hearing your concern, I'm definitely going to get to it as soon as possible to provide you with information, because there might be resources available to at least solve the problem in some ways, and perhaps not live sessions, but to address live sessions for everything, but perhaps to some extent to be responsive to what you're all expressing here.
Yeah, I will echo what Shara was saying. We will do our work. We will find out all the information, and so that at the minimum, we'll know what the possibilities and the options are from the minimum to the maximum. But I think that the Student Senate should contact the Office of Accessibility, because they certainly should know about the need, and they should know how strongly you feel about it. And then they will be an advocate for the funding when it comes to that decision. Does that make sense?
Fantasy?
I am really hesitant to keep going with this conversation. It's making me really frustrated. I've already said we've talked with the DLDRC, the Disability and Resource Learning Difference Resource Center. Sorry, acronyms really heavy. But yeah, we've talked with them. They've known before the beginning of the semester that this was an issue. So it just sucks that there's no collaboration between the departments on campus. Again, students are having to advocate. That's why you're hearing the passion, I feel, and maybe the anger in some of these sentiments is because we've been trying to talk with the DLDRC. They're a small department, but I think it is also up to ITS to reach out to every department, every aspect on campus life, since y'all are kind of like, I know that you're trying, your best with Zoom and everything, but we don't know what the resources are if y'all don't let us know. So again, I am chair of this committee, and I will do my best to reach out to all departments that this will affect with closed captioning specifically. I don't want to take up too much time keeping on talking about it, but just so students know, this will get done. There will be conversations with departments and students. Please reach out to me with more concerns, just so the ITS know as well. The blame is not all on y'all, so please don't think it is, but it does have effect on every department. So again, I'll be reaching out to everyone, and thank you for the support.
We've reached our allotted time for this agenda item. If anyone would like to make a motion to extend the time, they could do that now.
Angelo?
I move to extend the time by 15 minutes.
Second.
There was a motion on the floor having been seconded to extend the discussion time by 15 minutes. Is there any further discussion? If not, please cast your votes. Motion passes. Ben?
Hello, everyone. Sorry if you can't hear me. I'm walking back from a COVID test on campus, so it might be a little bit muffled. I just want to thank everyone for participating in this fantastic conversation. I had a couple of just sort of questions that I realized might sound a bit silly for not knowing this, but I don't know what services are available to people who are deaf or hard of hearing during a regular in-person semester, and I just want to make sure that we have, if there aren't enough things set up for an in-person semester, we are also focusing on that because the university will be in person at some point, and I don't want us to only get caught up on providing virtual accessibility. I want to make sure that we also are addressing any discrepancies or problems with in-person accessibility to people who need support.
Thank you, Ben. Ari?
Yeah, thank you so much for being here once again. But just to bring the conversation back in terms of, I'm quite surprised that that you're hearing this now. Given the fact that it seems that you're hearing this now, what has your department done, given the fact that, you know, earlier of spring, we almost every university in the country immediately transitioned online. So I wanted to know, how has your department ensured accessibility? Because it seems that even when we bring up the discussion of ensuring that all events, not just classes, are covered, there seems to be a bit of discrepancies when it comes to discussing that. So I just want to know, because obviously it seems that we are going to continue in this setting till next semester, and I don't know if we'll continue further than that, but that's something I wanted to know prior. How has your department ensured that accessibility is ensured? And after even just, you know, with transitioning in the earlier spring, I am a new student here, so I'm not very much aware of how the departments work, but thank you if that could help.
I can try to respond to that. We are very aware of accessibility issues in general. So all our web pages are designed to be web accessible. Our mobile app is, and so is Blackboard, and so on. Now, Zoom, as you know, is a product that we don't have a control over. It's a product that we signed a contract for, like many other universities, and the issue of accessibility, live closed captioning, didn't really of classes has really not come up to us. So so we haven't done a lot in that area. However, when the lectures that are recorded do have closed captioning. So it's a live issue that is the problem, and I totally understand it. It's actually very helpful for me now to see the closed captioning of the Google slides that are being shown on the screen, because sometimes you can't hear exactly what the person is talking about. Sometimes they have accent, like I do. So it is helpful. I would totally support having that. It is a good thing. I think all I'm asking at this point is that you give us the time to research the information. We will alert all the relevant offices to this need. And again, it's important that they also hear it from you. If you have done it, so that's great. And then we'll certainly implement whatever the university decides to do.
Thank you, Ben.
Hello. Yeah, I totally forgot to put my hand down, but I do sort of, I do want to follow up. I guess what I was saying was more of a question. Can anyone give an outline of the services USD offers to people who are deaf or hard of hearing during an in-person semester? Because I was just thinking, because I don't know, I'm honestly unsure of the things we offer and how we could translate that more into a virtual setting if they haven't been already.
I don't think I can answer that. Maybe some of the students know the answers to that, but I don't know what is actually being done in the classroom, in live physical classrooms, to address those issues.
Then that's something that could potentially be discussed during final business as well.
Mm-hmm.
Thomas?
I was just going to bring up the point that I also agree with the other senators, but if there are students with the competency to type closed captioning for classes, if you could look into that and research the number of students that are able to do so, I think that would also be an important statistic to know, because the university, if they want to keep costs down, they could hire students to do that.
Yeah, that's certainly an option.
Thank you, Chidi.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify my question from earlier. I definitely understand that you guys are like not in charge of like pass fail or anything that happened with that. But I did want to like, I guess, ask of you as like the senators start to like come up with their response to work with them so that it's very clearly outlined what ITS is able to provide in regards to like accessibility. So that's just what I was asking, if you'd be able to work with that team that's working on the response so that it's very clear what is and isn't available right now.
I'm not sure what you're asking. Are you asking to work with us on issues related to that?
Chidi?
Not so much like, well, yes, work on those issues, but just to take a review of like closed captioning, like things regarding that, like what is available with how Zoom is right now for classes. I'm not sure if that makes sense.
I'm not sure I understand. Shara, any comments on that?
I'm not certain, but aside from the takeaway that this is dire and urgent, and that we should look into some possibilities as soon as possible, and in fact, you know, Zoom may have some intermediate solutions. So now that we know, we are going to be looking into this. I think that's what we're trying to share with you. And we appreciate you sharing your concerns with us. I think that's our takeaway from the conversation. I'm not sure if we're missing something here.
Chidi, do you want to maybe rephrase the question, if possible?
I'm not really sure how to rephrase it, but like, I just want it to be very clear, like what is available on the Zoom platform that we're using right now. So like what students are asking for, if that is like available right now, and then I'm not sure if like I'm not making sense, or if someone else that understands what I'm saying could rephrase it for me. I just want it to be like very clear, like what we don't have through Zoom, what we do have through Zoom.
Well, we're going to look at the third party because Zoom obviously does not have those built in. And so we're going to have to look at the third party that will work with Zoom to offer that solution. So as soon as we have that information, we'll bring it to you.
Angelo?
So I kind of have two questions. Like I think the previous question was being asked is just to make sure that like what is available is like known and that we're all on the same page and that no one's asking for something that is already available but isn't like known, right? Because sometimes there's an IT service that students have access to, but it's not marketed in a way that they know they have access. So I think the question, and I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but was just that to make sure that we're all on the same page and that the resources that are available are known and that what's being asked and requested of by students isn't something that already exists. And so I think it was just to clarify those and what specific IT services we already have and what we would need to add to achieve the goal of like accessible, like captioning. And I think that was my understanding. And then but actually I'll raise my hand again.
So just to maybe we can summarize this issue, because you guys may have some other IT related issues that you want to discuss as well. I don't know, but when it comes to Zoom, I think you know exactly what Zoom is providing. There's no we don't provide anything in addition to what the Zoom provides at this point in terms of closed captioning. So whatever you see on the Zoom screen, even now, you know, at the bottom you see participants, chats, share screen, record, all that kind of stuff. If there is a closed captioning option, then that's what it is. That's what there is. If there isn't, then there isn't. So we will look into the third-party options. And like Shara was saying, she heard that Zoom is coming up with some improvements to that area in the next few weeks or a couple of months. So we'll try to get information from them on what they're coming up with. Sometimes vendors do not want to tell in advance on new features. But we'll try and we'll get whatever information we have. So I hear your frustration. I hear your requests. I think at this point, I think we covered most of the information that we can provide you today on closed captioning, and we'll be happy to come back in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whenever we have the data and discuss more. Is that okay?
Angelo?
Can I respond? Yeah, I think that we all understand that Zoom is a platform that USD did not create, and that that you're not in control of all the closed captioning. I think the question, you know, specifically has been asked about closed captioning, but I guess it's all of the resources IT is offering the students, and I think it would be nice if we could just have some clear list of what resources or what things have been done from IT in response to COVID-19. I don't think that we're asked. I mean, yeah, I think that there's like this disconnect because yes, we've been asking about the closed captioning, but I think the question goes beyond. So it just would be nice to have a clear list of all the resources, closed captioning and otherwise, that IT is offering to students.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And actually, if we're talking about general resources, IT resources for the students related to remote learning, we have a website. It's called sandiego.edu/remote. And it's a website with a lot of different information, a lot of different links. And it's for students, for faculty, and for staff. If you go to that website and you scroll down, at the top, there are all kind of announcements and and key things. And then when you scroll down, there's a section for specifically for students on what resources are available, what tips do we suggest for remote learning. And there's also links there to how to access licensed software remotely. Software that you used to go to the computer labs in person. Computer labs are closed right now. They may be open in the spring, but still we're going to have probably quite a few students who would want to access the software remotely. And that information on how to do it and what software is available is all in the links there. So go to sandiego.edu/remote, and you'll find a lot of information there. If there's any information that's missing, let us know. We'll be happy to add it. And as far as the closed captioning, as soon as we have the information, we'll add it to that page as well.
We reached our extended time for this agenda item.
Angela.
I moved to extend the time by 10 minutes.
Seconded.
There is a motion on the floor having been seconded to extend this discussion by 10 minutes. Is there any further discussion? If not, please cast your votes. Sabrina and Ari and Fantasy, can you please cast your votes? Motion passes.
Point of privilege.
Sorry, who was that? I couldn't see who was talking.
Sorry, that was Brianna, Catalina's proxy.
Taken
I just
well,
have
thank
a-
you. Ezra.
Yeah, so I just wanted to know if there was some kind of timeline on when we would get kind of official reports as to the direction that closed captioning on Zoom will go. And I was wondering if Elazar could share their email in the chat so that we could continue this dialogue. And then I know that there are so many three-party closed captioning services out there, and I'm on the finance committee, and we've already approved some of them, and so I don't see why that is the roadblock to that. And so I feel like it should be an intentional and immediate effort to instill this accessibility in learning, because already being remote, it's inaccessible. A lot of us are in homes that are not accepting. A lot of us are experiencing food insecurity, housing insecurity, and so I just feel like this is the least we can do, and there's services out there, so why don't we use them? If there are services that will make the world better for disabled people and deaf people and hard of hearing people, why don't we use them? I just don't see a justification. And I understand that it takes time, but I want you all to understand that that time that it takes subtracts from students' education that they are paying for a lot of the time. And so, yeah.
Otter and Rev are the two companies that we work with. We currently work with them on individual cases, but we're going to continue, and after we're done today, tomorrow, to work with them to get more information. Same with Zoom. As we said, this is the first time that is coming, your concern is coming to us at this extent. So we're more than happy. We will look into those two companies, the third party, how it integrates. And then if, you know, the cost, you said you already have the budget for it, and that is not the main concern. The main thing is to bring it to our attention, which you just did, and we heard it for the first time, and we're committed to look into it and bring it back to you guys, for sure.
It's concerning that you heard it for the first time, because there have been complaints to the DLRC, the Disability Services Center. I can never get the acronym right. But thank you, and I will drop my email in the chat, and I would love any updates, as I am the chair of the Inclusion, Diversity, and Equity Committee, and this is one of our main goals.
Absolutely. I got that. I got your email. But to the previous person, also in terms of some of the things that we have done immediately, I think the question was during COVID, Zoom was licensed immediately and across the campus. Panopto was another one, because Zoom has limited license storage and cost. Obviously, with the number of Zoom usage that we have, we immediately licensed Panopto, which provides us unlimited amount of the storage. So none of the recording is going to be a hindrance to the community. And then another one, aside from the remote site that Elazar mentioned, the classrooms, we immediately went into making the classrooms all outfitted, be ready for hybrid and high flex environment with the 2 camera settings. And that was a big major move for us to immediately respond to the COVID. But all of those are some of the actions, and a lot more that we have immediately tried to respond to the major need of the students' teaching and learning needs. So we are going to continue, and as I mentioned, I am going to contact Otter and Rev and see what do they have in terms of live and their cost, and whether it makes sense to go across the board, what is the cost for that, or a subset of that, and work with Zoom. So we will get back to you with those information.
Thank you. As a reminder, please raise your hand and follow Robert's Rules of Order. I understand that this is an important topic and people get passionate about certain issues that are salient to them. But in order to be equitable, everyone needs to follow Robert's Rules of Order and be addressed before they can speak. Thank you. Angela.
So I just have a question, like not regarding the closed captioning, but it's about the app on the My San Diego app. Just like with campus being remote, especially for like ASG, I mean, I can speak to my experiences. It's kind of hard to connect with constituents. Would there be like a way to add it? So from your San Diego app, you could go to like My Student Representative, or like if you're a on-campus resident, you can get your residential senator. If you're like your major, you can get your academic senator, something like that. Because right now, all it goes to is the Instagram pages. But I think it'd be helpful if students knew who their particular senators were.
Yes, we would love to get any suggestions that you have on adding more features to the app. If you or somebody else let us know exactly what you want, we look into that. This request seems pretty easy to do, and we'd love to do that, as well as other requests. I know that most students are using the MySD mobile app, We keep adding features to it. If you don't do it regularly, I really recommend that you update, you know, you do a software update to your app on a regular basis, because the new enhancements coming every 2 or 3 weeks to it. We also working on some additional features um, uh, for example, a recent feature that was added that's not going to help us now because we're mostly not on campus, but there is the feature now that's available. It tells you how many parking spots are available in every parking lot in real time. And there are many, many other features that have been added over the last few months. But again, I think the Student Senate, if you guys can send us requests and ideas, we'd love to meet with you. And if it's technically feasible, we'll do it. Also, one other thing that I just wanted to let you know, you may or may not know about it. Shara mentioned it a few minutes ago, but over the summer, when we didn't know if the fall will be hybrid or in person or all remote, we outfitted almost all classrooms on campus with cameras and microphones and special software, so that hybrid classes can happen. So in the next semester, where there'll be at least some hybrid classes, we'll be able to have students in the classroom physically, some students remote, and they'll all be able to see each other. Every classroom has 2 cameras, one facing the instructor and one facing the students. So that will be a very helpful thing as well. And one other thing is, I know you didn't ask about it, but I think it's useful for you to know, is that for those of you who will take hybrid classes and will be in the classroom, the faculty, the instructors, will probably need some help in terms of monitoring the remote Zoom sessions, because while they're lecturing, they also have to get to monitor what's going on in the Zoom session, see if there are questions from the students and so on. So we have told all the deans, and they told their faculty, the instructors, that that ideally there should be a TA in the classroom helping the instructor for those hybrid classes.
So we extended time for this item. If anyone would like to make a motion to extend the time, they could do that now.
Chidi?
I move to extend the time by 3 minutes.
Second.
There's a motion on the floor, having been seconded, to extend the discussion by 3 minutes. Is there any further discussion? Alana Ledman?
Can we extend this discussion by an even 5?
Sarah, can you provide?
Yeah.
information on that?
You need to make a motion to amend the first motion to extend the time, and we would vote on that amendment, and then we would go to vote on the first motion with the amendment already included.
Thank you. So I move to amend the previous motion to extend time by 5 minutes.
I believe you can second, Chidi. Correct me if I'm wrong, Sarah.
Yeah.
There's a motion on the floor, having been seconded, to amend the previous motion to extend the discussion by 5 minutes. Is there any further discussion on this amendment? If not, please cast your votes. Motion passes. Now we vote on the motion to extend the discussion by 5 minutes. Is there any further discussion, Angelo? No, never mind. If not, please cast your votes. Motion passes. Elazar, I believe you were speaking if you wanted to finish your thoughts.
Oh, I think I forgot what I was talking about. I'm really honored that you all want to talk about these issues. That is really wonderful. I think I was talking about the classroom and the hybrid situation. So if you have any questions about that, I'll be happy to answer as well.
Thank you. Chidi?
Yeah, I just wanted to bring to attention what a senator had said in the chats regarding like the discussions on like closed captioning and stuff. So I think it might be best if anyone else has like questions, it be more directed to like other aspects that like regard IT, just to be respectful of their position as like UDC chair. So if anyone has like questions that aren't related to like closed captioning and stuff, I feel like it might be the time to ask them.
Lena?
Yeah, I just had a question. I think this is a general question. Is there, well, for some reason when I entered DegreeWorks like on my phone, is there a way that is the platform for DegreeWorks developed to a point where it can be used for like mobile devices, or is it only computers?
We are now in the process of upgrading our portal, which is My San Diego on the computer. And when we complete that, it will be fully compatible on the mobile app as well. So basically, everything that you currently see on My San Diego on the computer will have its counterpart on the mobile app. And that's our goal. Our goal is really, we call it mobile first. So every app, everything that we do on a laptop or a desktop should also have a compatible version on the mobile app. And so yes, that will happen, but it's not going to happen probably before June, because our replacing our portal infrastructure is a big complex project that we just started. And our plan is to complete it by end of June. So by summer, and for sure for the next fall semester, that will be available.
Sabrina?
Hi, I just had a question. When you were mentioning the hybrid model, you mentioned TAs. A lot of my professors do not have TAs, to my knowledge. So how would that work? And I was also wondering if you guys are doing like test run with professors, or to what degree they're getting trained on how to use this technology, because I know it's new and I know it's really hard for everyone, but I really want to make sure our professors are able to maybe take this break to get as much support as possible when learning how to do this new medium of hybrid.
Yes, excellent question. Over the summer, we had courses for faculty. They were called RT. RT stands for Remote Technology, RT 101 and RT 102. And they were available to all faculty. Not all of them took it. We have about 300 faculty that took them, that took RT 101, and about 200 took RT 102. We are providing those classes continuously now. So by the spring, there are going to be more faculty that have taken it. And the hybrid information is included in that. In addition to that, Shara's group has met with faculty in physical classrooms on campus to show them physically, how to manage that camera process and Zoom and integration with Panopto, the whole thing. We extended invitation to all faculty to come, and Shara and her team are happy to do that on a regular basis. And we do get more and more faculty involved in that. That said, I think that it's still going to be difficult for instructors to manage the whole thing without any help. Because imagine you're teaching a class and you're focusing on what you need to teach, right? You have to speak, you have to write on the whiteboard, you have to see the the students, so you obviously see the students in the classrooms. It's hard to also see at the same time what's going on in the Zoom session for the remote students. And that's why I strongly recommended, I can't enforce it, but I strongly recommend it to the deans and the faculty that they will have support, either as a TA, if they have TAs, or as students that are in the classrooms that are willing to take on that role, to just watch what's going on in the Zoom session and alert the instructor whenever there's a need for her or his attention. So it's new. It's new for the faculty. It's new for you as students. So I'm sure the first week or two will not be perfect. Everybody's going to have to learn a little bit about it, and I hope that the students and the faculty can help each other to go through this, because it's new for everybody.
We've reached our extended time for this agenda item. If anyone would like to further extend the time, they can make a motion to do so now.
I have to leave by 2.
Alana Bloodman.
I move to table this discussion until we receive further updates from the chair of the University Design Ad Hoc Committee.
Second.
There's a motion on the floor, having been seconded, to table this discussion item until we have more information from the UDC chair. Is there any further discussion? Alana Bloodman, is your hand still raised? Okay. If there's no further discussion, please cast your votes. Motion passes. Thank you to Elazar for being here. Can we get a round of applause for Elazar? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hope to see you all soon. Bye.
Madam
Next,
Secretary, point of privilege.
That AJ.
Yeah.
Taken well. Thanks, AJ. Next item on the agenda under new business is approval of new and registering clubs. Jay, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Speaker of the Senate. And what's up, guys? Your favorite senator back at it again. I'm going to go through the 4 clubs. And yes, that may be my intro because I love seeing you guys smile. I think it's really good to have that. So we got 4 clubs today. The first club is going to be the Artist Management Club. Their mission is to merge business and music, creating space for creative individuals and encouraging working in the music industry. The goals are encouraging creativity and change making, recording music, and promoting artists. The second club is going to be the Industrial Organizational Psychology Club, whose mission is to provide networking opportunities for people in the field and provide exposure to that field. Their goals are networking opportunities for future success, and they are specifically open to more business majors. The third student organization is the Pachamama Alliance. Their mission is to be dedicated to bringing forth an environmentally sustainable, spiritually fulfilling, and socially just human presence on this planet, which, now that I'm reading, is a very worthy cause. And their goals are to create opportunities for students to participate in environmental community engagement, unpack ways in which the environment affects BIPOC communities, and write letters to senators. The final club is the Interstellar Astronomical Society, whose mission is to create a diverse learning environment in order to push out information on astronomy, aeronautics, astronautics, and connect people to professors early on. Their goals are to have accessible information for all and creating connections on and off campus and throughout more specific fields of study. These are all of the clubs, and if anyone has any questions about the preview clubs, feel free to ask me or the student board chairs. Thank you.
Are there any motions? Alana Bledman.
I move to approve all 4 new student organizations.
Second.
There's a motion on the floor having been seconded to approve all 4 student orgs. Is there any further discussion? Alana Bledman. If not, please cast your votes.
I'm so sorry.
Motion passes. The 4 student orgs have been approved. Thank you all. Okay, and that brings us to final business and hearing of the public. At this time, any senator may take from the table any motion previously laid on the table in the meeting the week before or present urgent business. Any member of the public may voice any concerns to the assembly on non-agenda items. Amber?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I am here just to offer an opportunity for you all to provide feedback on the fall 2020 Senate training that you went through this year. You might have noticed in Maya's email last week that there was an opportunity to fill out a Google form. And so I just wanted to drop that Google form into the chat again. This is a really easy informal survey just with 2 open-ended questions, basically giving you a space to share any feedback that you had on fall training and also offer any suggestions that you have for spring training. So feel free to fill that out at your leisure, and really all of your insight is so helpful to us. So anything that you have, we really appreciate it. Thank you.
I just want to echo Amber's point really quickly. It's a great way to shape what ASG training will look like in spring as well. So if you really hated training and you think that it could use something else, then that's a great way to get your voice heard. Lauren?
Ooh, sorry. Yes. I had a few questions or inquiries, I guess. So first of all, I figured that the people in ITS, like they had a small answer for it, but if anybody knows who is going to be in charge of assigning TAs to professors, because I didn't know that that was going to be, going to be a thing even remotely. And then second of all, I remember Justin had mentioned earlier in the semester that there was a very small percentage of professors willing to come back to campus. So I was wondering if there was an updated number on professors who were actually willing to come back and take part in a hybrid model in the spring.
Justin, do you have an answer for that by chance?
I do not have an answer on that. I do know that the spring calendar has just been finalized with that, but they haven't specified as to how much or how many courses will be hybrid or in person. That's obviously going to come into play after we get the final registration information. But to answer that and to circle back to your previous point, I'll check in with the Speaker of University Senate and any other deans that can have a response on A, how the TAs are going to be selected for the professors, and B, the amount of professors that are willing to come back. So thanks for the question, Lauren.
Chi.
Hi everyone. Okay, so African Student Union is hosting our last GBM tomorrow. We're going to be talking about all the things that are going on the African continent right now. So the End SARS movement, some of the protests that have been happening in the Congo and Namibia. So if you're interested in learning how you can be an ally to people that are fighting for equality on the continent, definitely stop by. You can RSVP in our link tree. I can put that in the chat as well, but I definitely hope to see some of you there.
Thank you, Chidi. Ari?
Yeah. Hi everyone. So I just wanted to simply a quick reminder to still fill out office hours for this week, or if you couldn't get them last week, please do. That would be really appreciated. There are still some that are empty. I just want to make sure that we all do that and just get those logged. It's really, like I mentioned before, if you're having trouble, please reach out to me. And I'm also going to drop the Calendly link again, because I do want to send that to Jeffrey at least by the end of the semester. That way we have those office hours set up. I know everybody's preparing for finals and it's going to be a busy 2 weeks from now on. But yeah, just want to do that, and good luck and thanks.
Thanks, Ari. Ben?
Hello, everyone. I just wanted to echo the question I had earlier, to see if anyone can sort of outline these services that are available to deaf or hard of hearing students during a regular semester, and sort of so we can gauge how well we can transition those to an online or hybrid semester as well. Because I don't know what services we offer. I know what services we offer for other things, but I don't know for this one. So if someone could explain, that would be very helpful.
Sabrina, is this to answer Ben's question or something else?
Something else.
Does anyone have a question or a response to Ben, or maybe like a point of contact? Justin?
Yes, this is to your second point. I don't have the actual answer, but I can check in with student affairs, more specifically Dr. Cynthia Avery and others in that realm to answer your question, Ben.
Speaking of Dr. Avery, you can go ahead and speak.
Good afternoon, everyone. So good to at least virtually see you. I am responding to the question that Ben had. So each student's needs are determined by their care provider in association with the DLDRC. So some students might need a note taker. Some new students might need an ASL interpreter. It all depends on what the student needs, and that's how those accommodations are made. So I don't have a complete list of services for any student who might be hearing impaired or deaf. But that is something that I'm sure I can get from the DLDRC, or I know Fantasy is meeting with Dr. Melissa Halter tomorrow, and she oversees the DLDRC. So I'm sure we can get back to you with more information if you'd like.
Thank you, Dr. Avery. Sabrina?
I just wanted to share with everyone, the Vista posted, I don't exactly know, I guess a reflection on the fall 2020 semester from their newsroom. And it addresses some different things that we've obviously been talking about. And I wanted everybody to, I'll just share a link to it so that way you guys can read it, because ASG is directly mentioned. One of our meetings is linked when the quote that prioritize shutting it down as soon as possible in regards to what they say is censorship of the op-ed. And I believe they did quote some senators, they didn't say who. So I just thought it might be something, if you haven't had the opportunity to read, you may want to.
Thank you, Sabrina. Ben, did you have any follow-up questions? I saw your hand was raised.
I raised my hand instead of unmuting myself for that one. No, just I wanted to thank anyone who is able to reach out to the various groups, and I would love to be kept updated as to any meetings or answers that that come out of this. Also, just a follow-up, does anyone know if, I know that we are providing, or that some professors at least have been able to reach out and ask for note takers, so I know that system has been implemented even with virtual settings. I was wondering if the translators have been able to sort of sit in on Zoom calls and if those have been utilized during this remote semester as well.
Dr. Avery?
Point of clarification.
Who I cannot.
I think you're talking, when you're talking about translators, Ben, are you referring to ASL?
Yes.
Yes, that's how it works. So they would attend the class and be signing for the student right in the class.
Ben, do you have anything to respond with?
Just thank you very much for clarifying those. I had no idea that those were being offered. I guess sort of a clarifying question with, I don't really know how to phrase this. Is the priority with closed captioning to work in tandem with any other additional aid, or would that be used to replace any aid? I'm assuming it's in tandem. I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page with how closed captioning will work with students who are utilizing other services currently.
We've reached our allotted for this agenda item. If anyone would like to make a motion to extend the time, they could do that now.
Alana Bloodman?
I move to extend final business by 15 minutes.
Second.
There's a motion on the floor having been seconded to extend final business and hearing the public by, did you say 15 minutes? Is there any further discussion? If not, please cast your votes. Jay and Max, could you please cast your votes? Motion passes. Dr. Avery, or Ben, I think you were asking a question.
I had finished my question. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Okay. Alana Bloodman?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I have a question for the larger population, but specifically the members of the VISTA that are here today. I see that the editor-in-chief is present. So I have a question that I'm going to drop in the chat in reference to a quote that was posted in the article about how the USD's VISTA editors population of Black and Indigenous people of color is at 42%. I would like to first off clarify that BIPOC means Black or Indigenous person of color. It does not include non-Black or non-Indigenous persons of color. So the VISTA would then need to edit for accuracy, considering that BIPOC does not account for non-Black, non-Indigenous persons of color. It was noted at a meeting between the VISTA and ASG Senate that the majority, if not all, editors and members of the USD VISTA team are white, excluding the editor-in-chief and one other woman that I saw. So I would love clarification on that matter first and foremost. That was a comment. So here's my question. Actually, it's another comment. I would like to bring up another quote that is found in the article and that was stated in editor-in-chief's email to AS senators about a senator lamenting about death threats being okay. I found it. And let me post it. And there we go. So this is a comment that references something that I said, and I have been left off the record in the accounts from the Vista about this comment, but I want to make something clear. At no point did I say that it was okay for anyone to receive or expect death threats. I would like to make that a baseline understanding. I, as a Black woman on this campus, being loud and outspoken, have received a multitude of death threats on many occasions. I have emails and receipts to justify this claim. So I would never say that it is okay for someone to receive death threats. What I did say, and I have clarified this with many other senators, is that there is an understanding that because of our Bill of Rights, because of our very first set of amendments, freedom of the press is included in that. That being said, we have seen time and time again people fight to the death for their basic human rights as mentioned in our Constitution. So, the same way that I have fought endlessly for my rights, which are not founded in the First Amendment, I did in fact say that because media institutions, more often than not, do have a side, do lean one way or not politically, the reason that you receive adverse effects and comments and people throwing away your newspaper, which I understand is so devastating and wasteful, of course. But what we do need to understand is that people are going to fight for their rights. Whether I agree or disagree, people are going to have a decision that does not coincide with yours. So the larger question of why, after an article was posted, your institution was attacked was to understand why those comments were coming through, most likely because people did not agree with what was being said. Understand that as an institution, you are more powerful than the comments that are left on your Vista door, and to reflect about why people are commenting on why your newspaper posts things that are oppressive and correlate to hate crimes. So I would like to once again make it clear that Senator Alana Bledman did not say that it was okay that the USD Vista received death threats as a result of an article that one of their people posted. What I did say is that people will and will always and have always fight to the death for their basic rights and freedoms. And it would make sense that in the media industry that people are going to fight to ensure that their voices are being heard. Thank you.
Thank you, Alana. Lauren?
Thank you, previous senator, for your beautifully and well stated message. A very different topic. Is it possible to have office hours for next week reduced? Is there any chance of that? I don't know what the procedure behind that is.
I will discuss that option with Senate lead team and get back to you as soon as possible. Lauren?
If there is no further discussion from any other senators or members of the public, I move to adjourn today's Senate meeting.
Second.
There is a motion on the floor having been seconded to adjourn today's meeting. Is there any further discussion? Fantasy, I saw your hand raised.
I'm so sorry. Is the jackhammer too loud? Okay, never mind.
Angelo?
Well, I was just gonna say, like, is there gonna be like any response from the comments or the statements made before we adjourn?
From
anyone, I suppose, but I feel like it's kind of something important was just said, and that like to end the meeting. I mean, I guess it's 2:20, but I feel like it should be addressed.
Addressed by someone in particular, or sorry, can you clarify, Angelo?
Well, I thought that it was like asked, like it was directed at someone, like it was a question asked about like misinformation and like the falsifying of facts and like publishing like blatant lies about students that accuse them of like very serious things. Like, so that was my understanding.
I think that the Vista doesn't have to respond if they don't want to, and you can take their lack of an answer however you wish to take it.
Yeah, I guess I just wanted to give them a chance to respond if they were right. Yeah, I guess, yeah.
I understand. Thank you, Angelo. The meeting has not yet been adjourned. There's still a discussion about the motion right now to adjourn the meeting. Lauren?
I wanted to voice a senator's chat because they are unable to speak. They said, I was gonna say it would be nice to have the Vista reply email and this reply article in the agenda next week to talk about department accountability and how it has gone and needs to improve. And I don't know how we go about that, if we just tell you, Madam Speaker, and then it gets added, but I agree with that comment.
Thank you to Senator Fantasy and Senator Lauren for bringing this to my attention, and I will take that into consideration when making the agenda for next week. If senators also think that it would be a good use of time, I could also invite a DLDRC staff member to Senate next week and see if they're able to make it. Can I get like a thumbs up virtually or anything from senators to see the consensus is? Cool. Okay, so there is a motion on the floor. Is there any further discussion on the motion to adjourn today's meeting? If not, please cast your votes. Motion passes. Senators or members of the public, please send your email into the chat so you can get Grubhub credits. Thank you. Thanks everyone for being here.